Hey YouTube, this is Gracie and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is, yep, you've guessed it, another mini card. Now don't worry, I'm actually decided to turn this into their own series on my channel in which I'll be doing mini card Mondays. So stay tuned for that, that'll be exciting. And then I'm going to be going back to my regular cards on Wednesdays, my usual uploading days. So definitely stay tuned for these new exciting adventures that we're going to be going on. Now this mini card series I started a little while ago, and if you guys are interested to see the whole collection, I will be adding the playlist at the end of this video, so you can click on that. All of the cards are Disneybounding as characters from Disney's Peter Pan, the animated movie, and that just so happens to be one of my top 3 favorite Disney movies. Now, they're not in this complete order, but my top 3 Disney movies that I absolutely love are number 1, Peter Pan, 2, Cinderella, and 3, The Little Mermaid. Not in that order, but those are definitely my favorite go-to Disney animated films. So I hope you guys like this video, and definitely watch the playlist at the end. So this card in particular is Disneybounding as Peter Pan's shadow. Also the reason why I opened up my Peter Pan book to the chapter The Shadow. And I'm going to be telling you guys my inspiration behind this card and also showing you guys how to make your very own. So the inspiration was definitely when I thought of using this black see-through ribbon. I knew I wanted to start with that and then go from there. So I went over to Joann's and picked up this really big, wide black see-through ribbon. And here is the container itself. I believe it was that price, $7.99. And it's Save the Date Bridal ribbon. And I just thought I needed to start there. The next thing I did, the inspiration behind it was to use some smaller ribbon as well, because I wasn't sure what size I needed, and then I ended up using both sizes. So that's why I've used the black see-through ribbon on there, is to represent the shadow itself. And I also used some Velum to, again, kind of represent some of the shadow effect that Velum has. And if you remember, Peter Pan tried to reattach his shadow by using a bar of soap. Silly boy. That's not how you do it. So instead, Wendy came and rescued him and ended up sewing it back on. So that is also why I included these stitch marks behind the Velum here. So the soap I actually did in a light gray. That's why I've included these 2 size pieces of cardstock to represent a bar of soap. So there you have it. There's the outside of the card. On the inside, I found the stamp in our collection that I did not know we had. And I was very excited to find it because it's pretty perfect. Sprinkling a little fairy dust your way. And then I did some more of the black see-through ribbon on there. And on the back side, I did my G stamp in some black embossing powder, and then I waited for that to cool, and I re-stamped my G stamp over it in some light gray ink. So it kind of gave it, again, a shadow effect. So there is the actual card for you guys. Now let me show you how to actually make it. Let me clear this little space away. Here's my Peter Pan book. I'm hoping to get this signed next time we go to the parks. If you guys are interested in anything of our trips to Disneyland, I do have a Disneyland haul. And I talked a little bit about how my mom and I brought our Disney books. I brought Peter Pan, she brought Mary Poppins, and she ended up getting hers signed by Mary Poppins and, what's his name? Bert, something like that. Bert, I'm pretty sure it's Bert. And anyway, so we were hoping to find like Captain Hook, but we didn't get there in time to have Captain Hook sign it. But I'm definitely hoping to get Peter Pan to sign my book. So hopefully soon that'll happen. So yeah, if you guys are interested, I did some Disney haul videos, and I'll go ahead and leave that at the end of a link to the end of the video. So the first thing I did was I took my original card size, which is 5.5 by 4, and I cut it in half, and that was approximately at 2 3/4. And this is kind of the full card size here. And all I did was took a black marker and just did little etch marks or stitch marks all the way around it. And now it's not perfect, because if you remember, like I said, Wendy sewed it on for him, sewed his shadow back on, and Wendy's a little girl, so I assume she's probably not a perfect sewer yet. So that's kind of why I didn't mind it being kind of jagged and random. Also because the next piece you'll want to cut down is your clear vellum. And that actually, I wanted to originally have some sort of like black or gray vellum to look even more like an actual shadow, but I couldn't find any, so I ended up just using some clear vellum. And I'll go ahead and leave the size of this in the description box. Also, you're going to want to cut down some black cardstock to sort of get that, you know, gray vellum effect. And I also wanted to make it just a little bit more layered and interesting. So I cut that down, and we're just going to glue that to the top. Now, while you're putting your stitch marks, you're going to want to take that into account. The fact that you're going to have a piece of black cardstock over that. So you're going to want to make sure either glue that down first and then draw in your stitch marks. I also used a ruler in my first take on the card. So I just placed that at the edge as close as I could get it. And then I took my marker and just drew it along the actual ruler there. So there's another tip for you guys. So let's go ahead and glue that down. Now I'm going to be using my Scotch Advanced Tape Glider gun thingamajigger, and we're just going to do that on all 4 corners because this is just going to be flat, and this will be one of the anchor pieces, kind of, meaning that all of the other pieces will be attached to it somehow. So I just go ahead and place that in the center. There you go. And then for the vellum piece, we're just going to put down a couple glides, and you're not going to go completely over to the sides or the top or the bottom, just kind of in the center. You could do another third one there just to make sure it stays, and just place that over the entire card. There you go, because this area will be covered by the next cardstock piece, which is the representation of soap, a bar of soap. So what you'll want to do is cut down some light gray cardstock, or if you're, you know, wanting to make it look kind of more specific, you can do a white or a slightly light blue color. But I went ahead and did mostly like grays and blacks in my card. So that's what you'll want to do. Now I did use a die cut set, and this is the one I used. This is, I believe, from Die-Namics. We repackage our die cuts and stamp sets just to make it easier to store away, so that's why it's in this packaging. But this is the one here, and this is the barcode that helps it all. It's a rectangle stacks set 1, if that helps it all. I don't think that's focusing. There you go. So there you go. I used, I think, the 3rd piece and then the smaller piece to get these 2 pieces of cardstock here. You can see they kind of just fit right inside of each other. And then all I did was took my corner cut, or punch rather, and then all you have to do is place your corner inside, which I've already done on this one here. So you'll go ahead and put that in the corner, punch that out, little scrap falls out somewhere, I don't know where it went. Anyway, there it is. And then you'll do that on all 4 corners. So with a little bit of Disney magic, this is what it's going to look like. So you'll have your 2 pieces, and they'll just stack on top of each other. And you can kind of see the resemblance to a bar of soap. So again, we're just going to use the tape glider. You can use some liquid glue, in which that helps you to position the cardstock before it completely dries, and that's very helpful. But I don't mind using the tape glider either, just for convenience. So go ahead and place that large piece down. And you'll want to put that inside of the black behind the vellum, just to make it look even. And then the next piece is just the little piece here. Oops, sorry for hitting the camera. And I'm just doing that on all 4 sides of the rectangle. Pretty proud of myself for remembering to say rectangle and not square. So there you go. Just going to place that down the center here. And there you go. Now, going to explain why I don't write soap on it, or I don't make, you know, cut out an exact replica of, you know, Peter Pan, because the idea behind Disneybounding is that you're representing the character in, you know, kind of like a nod to the character versus the exact image of the character on the card. So that's why I'm not writing soap on it. I'm not using like an exact die cut of the character. The next thing you're going to want to do is take your large piece of ribbon, and you're going to want to cut that down. And I did some edge on the top as well as the bottom. So you'll want to cut that down wherever you like it. You don't have to. I just like the idea of it being messy because, like I've said in my past videos, Peter Pan is not perfect, and neither is his shadow. So you can kind of see how there's a little bit of an edge on the top and the bottom there. And then the next thing you're going to want to do with that large piece of ribbon is you're going to want to tear off the little seam or edge piece there. So this one was pretty easy to do. Let me see if I can get some white paper out so you can see it better. You're just going to want to rip this off of the side and just tear it all the way down, down, down. And even if you get these random nasty spider leg looking things, that's okay. One, you can pull them completely off and they're gone, or if you're really particular, you can use some scissors and cut that off, and that's totally fine. So there is your large piece, and you're going to want to glue that down onto the top of your card. Now, I think this one's okay, so I'll leave that one. So all I did for this is I used the tape glider down the center. Let me again use this white paper so you can see better. Just place that down. And I'm again not going to be using the tape glider on the very top or the very bottom because that will be hanging off of the card, and so you don't really need that big of a piece. You're going to press down and try not to pull too much so it doesn't get all like ruffled and weird. Try your best. I'm sure there's probably a better way, but I actually didn't mind some of that showing through, just because it just didn't bother me. I don't know. I didn't care. It looks okay. Then the next thing you're going to want to do is cut down your smaller or thinner piece of black ribbon. And that is going to go exactly to the edge of your existing piece of ribbon. So just like that. And then you're going to cut off the bottom. I already have a piece ready for us to go. So we're going to just glue that or tape that onto the top with our advanced Scotch tape glider, like so. And flip that over and just place that down the center like this. Oh wait, that's the Little Mermaid. Anyway, there you go. After that, you're going to want to stamp your sentiment. Now this is the actual sentiment stamp that I used. It's from Rubbernecker, and it's pretty cool. It's just this little square stamp that we got. I did not know about. Was very excited to see this in our collection. Oh, there we go. And then what you're going to want to do is put that on a clear block, which this one seems to be like perfect size. And then we're going to open this up, and I used my Memento Tuxedo black ink pad. And let's make sure I stamp this the correct way. And ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Oh, press that in the center. Another trick for you is to use a mouse pad under the item that you're stamping. It helps a little bit better, but I've heard that with rubber stamps you don't really have to do that. If it's a clear, I think that's polyurethane something or other, you don't have to use, or you can use the pad underneath it. It just helps to get all of the image stamped onto it. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off those edges. There you go. And just place that in the center of your card and press. Sure that came out okay. Yay, perfect. Hooray, it worked. So let's put that aside. And the next thing you're going to want to do is cut down your large piece of ribbon once again. Make sure you're cutting it to the exact edges. You can leave it hanging out. That's totally fine. That's up to you. So this is the piece that I ended up with. It's just to the edge of the card. And I'm going to add rolled tape on this upper corner and this bottom right hand corner. And that's so that the ribbon will stick to it. So just a little tiny piece. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but you can kind of see it's just a little bit there. And then up in the corner. That one was a slightly smaller bit, but that's okay. And just go ahead and place that over where you glued it, or taped it rather. And there you go. Actually, some of it is hanging off, but the nice thing about these tape runners is you could just roll that excess away. There you go. All nice and clean. So there you have it. There is your Disneybounding mini Peter Pan's Shadow greeting card. I hope you guys liked it. Like I said before, stay tuned for all of these upcoming great ideas, I hope, for my channel. Like it, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Look in the description box down below for all the measurements and all of the names that I used of the products. And yeah, leave a comment down below if you guys are excited to see mini card Mondays coming your way. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!